Hi everyone, I welcome you all to the third webinar in the Connect webinar series from JSW Steel. JSW Steel is India's leading integrated steel manufacturer with a footprint in over 100 countries. We have launched with an intent to bring together the most enterprising MSMEs, engineers, architects, students, and channel partners. Today's webinar will focus on MSME 2.0, shaping your organization sales strategy. I, Omkar, really pleased to introduce our speaker for today's webinar, Mr. Yogesh Chabria, founder of the Happionaire Way. Yogesh is one of the world's most loved and sought after speaker, author, and a successful entrepreneur. He is an author of number of bestsellers which have transformed and touched lives of millions across the globe. I'm delighted to see so many of you already connected and waiting to go through this webinar. Please feel free to ask questions in the course of the webinar. They will be compiled and answered by Yogesh towards the end of the session. Over to you, Yogesh.
Thank you so much, Omkar, for the wonderful presentation. And I hope everybody can hear me. If you can hear me, just put it in the chat. We have a chat box on the right side. You could turn off the video. I think you could turn off the video. Thank you very much. You could close it. So firstly, thank you very much, JSW, for sponsoring this. And I'm sure the JSW, small, micro, medium business people, entrepreneurs, architect, इस पे I'm sure आप सबको बहुत फायदा होएगा. And our objective is just one. And our objective in the next 60 minutes is how can you scale up your business? आप अपने sales कैसे बढ़ा सकते हो? How you can succeed better. Now, this is going to be an interactive session. So what I want all of you to do, right side पे एक chat box है. I would like you to write yes if you can hear me and see me right now. I can see the chat. Okay. So आज का जो session होएगा, I want to start with something, how many of you have heard the thing that knowledge is power? Many people, say knowledge is power, but I will tell you why knowledge is not power. I'll tell you. How many of you here like goddess Lakshmi? कितने लोगों को यहाँ लक्ष्मी जी पसंद है? आप चैट में लिख सकते हो yes अगर आपको पसंद है. I remember जो मेरे grandfather थे, मेरे दादाजी जो थे, जब मैं छोटा था, so we are Sindhis, we belong to the Sindhi community. और जब मैं छोटा था 5 साल का था तो मेरे दादाजी ने हमें 2 तस्वीरें दिखाई. एक तो लक्ष्मी जी की तस्वीर दिखाई. लक्ष्मी जी किस पे बैठती है? कैन वी हैव द नेक्स्ट स्लाइड? लक्ष्मी जी किस पे बैठती है? कैन समबडी टेल मी? व्हाट डज गॉडेस लक्ष्मी सिट ऑन? Okay, yes, I can see your answers. राजेश गुप्ता, अनिल कुमार, सुनील जी, पूजा रावल, कपिल भानुशाली. मैं आपको एक सजेशन दूं, आप चैट में टाइप कीजिए. आप सब क्वेश्चंस में टाइप कर रहे हो, प्लीज टाइप इन चैट. कपिल भानुशाली, पूजा रावल, सिद्धार्थ बंसल, आप सब चैट में टाइप कीजिए. Below question there's chat here. That way we can see it quicker. तो लक्ष्मी जी किस पे बैठती है? Yes, some of you are getting it. Lotus, Anil Kumar, Lotus, Rajesh Gupta. Okay. Lakshmi ji, unable to open chat. Okay, no problem. You can keep it in the questions. I can see Toby. Okay. कमल के फूल पे बैठती है, बिल्कुल गुरु प्रसाद जी. अगर आप लक्ष्मी जी की फोटो देखो, कैन वी हैव द नेक्स्ट स्लाइड प्लीज. तो वो कमल के फूल पे बैठती है. तो मेरे जो दादाजी थे, उन्होंने मुझे ये फोटो दिखाई. मैं छोटा था, 5 साल का था, और हम लोग सिंधी कम्युनिटी से है. तो जो मेरे दादाजी थे, पार्टीशन के टाइम सब छोड़ के आए. तो सबसे पहले उनके पास जमीन थी, सोना था, दे हैड लॉट्स ऑफ वेल्थ, मटेरियल वेल्थ. बट पार्टीशन हो गई, सो दे हैड टू लीव एवरीथिंग इन सिंध एंड इंडिया में आए. तो इंडिया में स्टार्टिंग से शुरू किया. जब हम 5 साल के थे, वी डिडंट इवन हैव मनी टू बाय द ऑटो. ऑटो के पैसे नहीं होते थे. तो लेकिन एक चीज उन्होंने मुझे सिखाई, जो अब भी मैं याद रखता हूँ, जो मैं आपसे शेयर करना चाहता हूँ. तो सबसे पहले उन्होंने बोला कि लक्ष्मी जी लोटस पे बैठती है. तो उन्होंने बोला इसका सिग्निफिकेंस क्या है, कुछ आपको समझ में आ रहा है? मैंने बोला नहीं दादाजी, पूजा करते हैं हम, दिवाली में पूजा करते हैं उनकी. हम सिंधी शायद थोड़ा और पूजा करते हैं कंपेयर टू अदर कम्युनिटीज, बट आई डोंट नो व्हाट इज द मीनिंग. बोला ठीक है, नो प्रॉब्लम. सेकंड फोटो उन्होंने मुझे दिखाई. The second photo she showed was of goddess Saraswati. Who is goddess Saraswati? She is the goddess of, can somebody tell me? Saraswati ji is the goddess of what? Can somebody write in the thing? Yes, some of you got it right. She is the goddess of knowledge. Knowledge की goddess है. तो बोला इससे क्या समझ में आते है? बोला दादाजी ये knowledge, she is the goddess of knowledge. We worship her. You know, we don't touch our feet to the books. But you know, उससे ज़्यादा I don't know. I said okay. तो उन्होंने बोला, if you look at both the pictures, the first picture if you saw was Lakshmi, goddess of wealth. She sits on a lotus. And second one, as you can see in this picture also, what does she sit on? She sits on a rock. This is the traditional picture. She sits on a rock. पत्थर पे बैठती है वो. Some of you are saying English, some of you are saying Hindi. We will do a mix of both. You know, because we have people from all over. We'll do a mix of both. So he says, Yogesh, the first picture which I showed you was Lakshmi. She sits on a lotus. And what does this signify? What does this mean? Can somebody tell me what does this mean? There is a deep meaning. Can somebody write what is the meaning of this when you say Lakshmi sits on a lotus? So he told me this, and this is, if there's one thing you want to take from today, एक चीज आप सीखो, ये है, your time will be worth it. And he says that जो material wealth है, Lakshmi है, you know, if you have wealth, it can shine even in a, you know, muddy pond. You can shine, you can build a good house, you can buy a good car, you can be comfortable. Yes, as Bala Vignesh said, आप comfortably जी सकते हो. लेकिन but there is one thing. A lotus is not permanent. जो लोटस होता है परमानेंट नहीं होता है. एक मेंढक, one frog will jump on it, it can go down. One breeze will come, it can go away. So material wealth is not permanent. Look at what happened to us in Sindh. We had material wealth, we had gold, we had houses, we had so much money. लेकिन partition हो गया और overnight हमें सब कुछ छोड़ के आना पड़ा. So all that was lost. So he says material wealth is not permanent. So today your sales might be good, your turnover might be good. Tomorrow there is a change in the economy, it can plummet. Has it happened with you? Suddenly you make money, suddenly it comes down. If you have been in business, the way I look at business, it happens many times. It happens, होता है. But जो second चीज है, Saraswati, goddess of knowledge. He says she sits on a rock. वो पत्थर पे बैठती है, and इसका deep meaning है. What is the meaning of this? Can somebody tell me in the questions? I'm reading the questions. What does it mean when you say Saraswati sits on a rock? Can somebody write it to me? Yes, some of you got it right. Knowledge is permanent. जो Saraswati ji hai, if you invest in knowledge, it is permanent. So you told me, okay, you are a 5-year-old boy now. In life, if you invest in knowledge, if you learn how to do something, if you acquire some special skills, you will automatically attract Lakshmi. और आज भी I believe in this, अगर आप knowledge में invest करो, अगर आप ज्ञान में invest करो, you know, automatically आपके पास लक्ष्मी आ सकती है. And this is the underlying principle. आज 2020 में जो भी आप companies देखो, जो भी आप success देखो, all the successes, right from us using software to WhatsApp to Facebook, even in your own business, some of you might be doing steel business, some of you might be reselling steel, some of you might be buying steel from Jindal, selling it to car companies, processing it. The underlying thing, उसमें सबसे important चीज है knowledge. So he told me, keep investing in knowledge because it is permanent. And I'll give you one example. I'll give you an example. क्या आपको पता है in I'll share a story with you. If you remember, a few years ago, this is a friend was telling me, गुड़गांव में, हरियाणा गुड़गांव में बहुत सारे जो फार्मर्स थे, सडनली उनके पास बहुत पैसा आ गया. Suddenly they made a lot of money, 20 crores, 30 crores, 50 crores, because they sold land. Are you aware of it? Many of you are from the north might have heard of it. Lekin, what happened? They made this money, but within 3 years, 4 years, because they didn't have the knowledge of business or finance, many of them lost the money. So they spent their money on, having weddings in helicopters, buying cars, गाड़ियां खरीदी, and overnight उनके पैसे चले गए. And at the same time, बहुत सारे communities है जिनके पास पैसा नहीं था, but even though they took away all the money, उनके पास knowledge था, उनके पास systems थे, उनके पास skills थे, वापस they were able to make that wealth. And I'll share with you what is Geronimo saying. Can you show the previous slide? Can you show the previous slide to Geronimo, please? Yeah. Geronimo is saying, can you show them the Lakshmi slide? Yeah, this is Lakshmi. That is wealth. I don't know where you are from, Geronimo. You could type it. So Lakshmi is the goddess of wealth, and Saraswati, she is the goddess of knowledge. So it's symbolic. Symbolism है, लेकिन इसमें बहुत सारा deep meaning है. Now, if you look at this, right? I want to share a bit of myself, because many of people look at me, they say, oh, Yogesh, you're famous, you're rich, you're selling. But people don't realize that all of us started at zero. Everybody starts at zero. So wherever you are today is better than zero. And if you do a few things, why I say knowledge is not enough, I'll tell you why. A lot of you, okay, Sunil is saying JSW. Nice to know that. Sunil L. Bishnoy. Okay. Many times people say knowledge is power, and I'll tell you why knowledge is not power. Okay. Because knowledge becomes power only when you take action on it. आज आपके पास world का सब knowledge है. आज आप Google पे जाओ, all the knowledge in the world is there. We'll play a small game. How many of you know it is good to exercise? Type yes in the chat. Questions में आप लिखिए. How many of you know it is good to exercise? Everybody knows. Rajesh Gupta is saying yes. Everybody is saying yes. Pramod Kangutkar हाँ बोल रहे. Hari Babu is saying how to record. I'm sure you'll get a recording, Hari Babu. Everybody is saying, everybody knows it is good to exercise. Bala Vignesh is saying, everybody. We have 3,000 people. All the 3,000 people will say yes. Everybody knows it is good to exercise. Okay. So you have the knowledge. आपके पास knowledge है. Guru Prasad. Everybody. But how many of you regularly exercise? Now, if I was to see you, you know yourself, usually it is only 10%. Usually it is only 10%. So 100% of the people know what is right and wrong, but only 10% apply. So this is the difference. So knowledge आज के ज़माने में सब कुछ है. Google पे चले जाओ, आपको सब मिल जाएगा. Everybody will get everything. But Varun De Baga, Puruna. But it is good to exercise. If you exercise, you will become healthy, you will think better. So similarly, in all areas, knowledge is there. So today's session is not only about knowledge. ये जो session है सिर्फ knowledge के बारे में नहीं. It is about you to take action. About you to take on. अगर आपको कुछ अच्छा लगे, अगर कुछ मैं बोल रहा हूँ अच्छा नहीं लगे, बोले यार ये योगेश भाई तो कुछ भी बोल रहा है, ignore it, forget it. I am a very simple person. I am a businessman. I am a very simple person. लेकिन कुछ मैं बोल रहा हूँ, if it doesn't suit you, ignore it. लेकिन एक भी चीज अगर मैं बोल रहा हूँ, आप बोलते नहीं यार इसको मैं अपने धंधे में लगाऊंगा. I will use this in my business. I can grow my business 5 times, 10 times, 20 times, 100 times. I will do it. Is that a promise? Is that a promise? What are the... Somebody is asking, Dinesh Kanan, what are the procedure into business startup in MSME? Okay, we will come to those questions, Dinesh. That's a good question. We'll come to all the questions. So is that a promise? If there's anything you like today, you will take action. Type yes if it is a promise. If it is not, I will suggest you can drop out of the section right now. क्योंकि आप अगर action नहीं लोगे तो कुछ फायदा नहीं. Why to waste your time? And I'm being very humble about it. Okay, perfect. Manoj is saying yes. Very good. बहुत अच्छा लगा. I am very happy. So you are promising not to me but yourself that you will take action. Okay. Can we have the next slide? Can we have the next slide, please? बहुत अच्छा है. We are a group of Varun Dev Baga, Siddharth Bansal, Pramod, Manoj. आप सब yes बोलो, बहुत अच्छा. Can we go to the next slide, please? Now, so I'll share something with you. One thing very very powerful, एक चीज जो मैं मानता हूँ बहुत बहुत powerful है, and just which has changed my life, and it can change the life of every entrepreneur. कोई भी entrepreneur है और आप entrepreneur नहीं हो, employee भी anybody हो, it is sales, and I'll tell you why. So can we go to the next slide, please? Okay, so this is, as you know, learning plus action equals earning, result, sales scaling up. Everything changes with action, जो मैंने बताया आपको already. Can we go to the next slide, please? This is very powerful. Learning plus action. Learning and action. Keep taking action. Sasi Kiran, nice. Can we go to the next slide, please? Okay, so I want to share, that's me. Okay, that's me when I was 5 years old. And तो मेरे दादाजी ने मुझे ये कहा था, and मेरा ये मानना है, हर टाइम एक चैलेंज आती है. Every time there's a challenge, either you can give in to the challenge, you can complain, or you can say this is a wonderful opportunity. And अगर आप अपना mindset change करो, every time you have a challenge, actually it is an opportunity. It is an opportunity to make money. It is an opportunity to help people. It is an opportunity to solve problems. So I will share with you how I look at it. And my life has been filled with challenges, lots of rejections, but I love challenges, and I'll show you what. So this is me when I was 5 years old, and I was born in India, which was very closed economy थी वो time. In the 80s, I was growing up. तो 80s में, some of you might remember, अगर हमें टीवी सेट चाहिए होता था, सोनी का एक बॉक्स टीवी आता था, and you wouldn't get it easily. जो गवर्नमेंट के टीवी होते थे, you had to wait for 1 year, 2 years. फोन लाइन के लिए for MTNL, you had to wait for 1 year. कितने लोग को याद है ये टाइम? You know, वॉशिंग मशीन नहीं मिलते थे, मॉल्स नहीं होते थे, Amazon नहीं होता था, फ्लिपकार्ट नहीं होता था. How many of you remember those times? Some of you might remember, some of you might be younger, you might not remember. So that was the era I was born in. And जब भी मैं 5 साल का था, Pramod remembers, okay. Many of you remember, I can see that. तो जब भी मैं 5 साल का था, मेरे फादर जो थे, वो एक जॉब करते थे. And in those days, to supplement his income, he would do something very special. वो क्या करते थे? He and my mother would go to our neighbors, and they would say, you know, would you want a washing machine? आपको टीवी चाहिए? This was in addition to his job. And many times people would say, हाँ मुझे सैनियो की washing machine चाहिए, मुझे सोनी का टीवी चाहिए. वो जमाने में VHS होता था national का. Yes, we want this. So he would say, okay. He would take money from them, and then he would travel to Dubai or Singapore, because in those days, Dubai and Singapore were free zones, and they would get those things, and you know, they would sell it at a profit. So in our house, they would sell it. Along with that, they would bring other things. So they would bring Yardley powder, they would bring soap from Lux, and हमारा bedroom में, I was given the task of putting stickers and selling. So I observed them selling, and मेरे लिए खिलौने लाते थे, you know, toy cars लाते थे. I used to like playing. तो वो जमाने में remote control की गाड़ी होती थी, so they would bring it. I would play. लेकिन like everything, I would get bored. In 1 day, 2 days, 5 days, I would get bored. Even you might be getting bored. Even aaj, you know, many of you might be buying a new mobile phone or a new car. After 5 days, 1 week, you might be getting bored. That's human nature, right? So what I would do, I would go to my friends, मैं अपने दोस्तों के पास जाता था, and I would tell them, you know, this is a toy car, would you like to play it? और मैं उनको देता था. They would play for some time. After 5-10 minutes, I would take away the car, and I would say, you know, if you really want it, I can sell it to you, because there's so many people. And many of them would go to their parents and say, Papa, Mama, mujhe gaadi chahiye. And I started selling cars. So when I was 5 years old, I started selling toy cars. And I had a realization. You know, sometimes something clicks in your mind. I had a realization. And I realized sales is the best way to succeed. Kyunki my age doesn't matter. Whether मैं 5 साल का हूँ, 35 का हूँ, 50 का हूँ, 60 का हूँ, any age I can sell. My education doesn't matter. Whether मैं Harvard गया हूँ, Stanford गया हूँ, IIT गया हूँ, या I am only, you know, 5-year-old boy. My religion doesn't matter, my sex doesn't matter, whether I'm a boy or girl, so nothing matters. And I started enjoying sales, and I'm going to show you how you can put in the power of sales. So I've been selling since the age of 7. I've sold everything, you know. I've sold real estate worth crores, I've sold lots of things, and I've developed sales systems which we share with a lot of people, which I'm going to share. Would you guys like to have these systems? You can type yes. So in the next few minutes I'm going to share these systems. तो आप immediately इनको apply कर सकते हो. Somebody is asking, वरुण देव बागा पूछ रहे, sir please tell me something about public funding for startups. I'll tell you about that. But even if you want funding, the main thing you should understand is how you can help people realize that you can give them value. अगर आप लोगों को कन्विंस कर सकते हो कि अगर वो आपके साथ इन्वेस्ट करे, they'll get more return. And again उसमें सेल्स का आता है, because you have to persuade people. Correct, Manoj, Karthikyan, Manish. Yes, perfect. Can we have the next slide? So what we are going to talk about is ROI. Can somebody tell me what does ROI stand for? Some of you might have seen my TED talk where I again share my story of how I went, using sales, because sales has a lot of power, and everybody who has succeeded uses sales. Everybody. Return on investment, Rajesh Gupta, correct. Correct, Manoj. Next slide, please. Next slide. Absolutely, it is return on registration of India, Amir Jamdar. It's largely we look at it as return on investment, and sales. I look at sales not only as cash flow, even relationships. I made relationships with a lot of high performers, billionaires. Impact and sales gives you freedom. If your company or if you're really selling, it is the fastest way to create wealth. It is the fastest way to impact people, and you don't need a lot of capital to sell, right? Now, next thing I want to say, what is Dinesh saying? Dinesh Border, Dr. House succeeded not because of the knowledge, but passion to succeed. You're right. A lot of times it is a passion to succeed and ability to take action. बहुत बार लोग डर जाते, बहुत बार डर जाते. बिल्कुल right बोल रहे हो आप दिनेश जी. Couple, can we go to the next slide? Next slide, please. बिल्कुल right बोल रहे हो. Many times it is not your knowledge, it is how much action you're willing to take. How do you maximize ROI? We'll talk about it. Next slide. There are many ways to maximize ROI. एंड थोड़ा हटके सोचेंगे हम लोग. सबसे पहली चीज मैं आपको कहना चाहता हूं, आई लुक एट ROI एज रिटर्न ऑन इंस्पिरेशन. व्हाट इज रिटर्न ऑन इंस्पिरेशन? हर एक फील्ड में बहुत सिंपल चीज है ये. हर एक फील्ड में देयर आर पीपल हु हैव ऑलरेडी डन इट. हर एक फील्ड में आई बिलीव यू शुडंट रीइन्वेंट द व्हील. अगर ऑलरेडी कोई चीज चल रही है आप उनसे सीख सकते हो. So the first thing you should do is look at people who have succeeded. We were doing some work with a company called Hare Krishna Group. Diamond है, they are based in Surat, Bombay में है. In fact JSW के पास में ही उनका ऑफिस BKC में, कैपिटल में. तो एक ग्रुप है हरे कृष्णा ग्रुप, and they are a multi-billion-dollar group. Gujaratis है, and now this group something very interesting, started by 4th grade dropout जो है. एंड वन थिंग उन्होंने कहा, उनके जो फाउंडर्स है, उन्होंने कहा जब हम बहुत छोटे थे, वी वुड लुक एट पीपल हु आर 10 स्टेप्स अहेड ऑफ अस. तो अगर हमारा धंधा आज 10 करोड़ का है, वी आर लुकिंग टू बिकम फ्रेंड्स विद पीपल हु आर 100 करोड़. अगर मेरा धंधा आज 1 करोड़ का है, आई एम लुकिंग टू बिकम फ्रेंड्स विद 10 करोड़. अगर मेरा धंधा आज 100 करोड़ का है, आई एम लुकिंग एट समबडी हु इज डूइंग 1000 करोड़. इफ my business is 1000 crores, I'm looking to become friends with people who are doing 10,000 crores. And if I'm doing 10,000 crores, I'm looking to move up to 100,000 crores. तो क्या बोल रहे थे? If you surround yourself with people who are better than you can start modeling them. You can start learning from them. And many times it is only a mindset that holds you back. बहुत बार लोगों का mindset है. So he says once we started doing that, we became friends with people, and they could be competitors in your industry. They could be competitors in your industry because आप उनसे सीख सकते हो. तो बहुत बार जैसे हम लोग ने, I started a real estate business in Bombay. तो सबसे पहले चीज मैंने की, I went to find out दूसरे builders and I called them. I said, hi, I'm Yogesh Chabria. We are starting a real estate business. I just want to become friends with you. और बहुत सारों को मैंने references भी दिए. Somebody is there, Mufadi Saifi. Hello there, I am from Madhya Pradesh. I would like to join with JSW Steels in my city. That's beautiful. You should connect with the JSW team. I'm sure they'll help you out. आप definitely connect कर सकते हो JSW team से and start off this business. तो उनसे मैंने सीखा. तो उनके brokers कौन है, उनके architects कौन है, उनका, तो उनसे आप सीख सकते हो और हमने implement किए. And you can say, and this you can apply to every area. So find out, सबसे पहली चीज, find out people who are doing better than you. बहुत बार लोग क्या होते हैं, jealous हो जाते हैं. Somebody is doing better, you feel jealous. होता है क्या आपके साथ होता है? Somebody is doing better than you feel jealous. अगर होता है तो type yes. If you feel jealous, type yes. It's normal human tendency. It is a human tendency to feel jealous, but convert that jealousy into inspiration. Because if you convert that to inspiration, you can learn from them. So I ask myself a question, how can I do? These are powerful questions. How can I do what somebody has done in 15 years or 20 years in just 1 year? Ask yourself this question. How can it's success is just time. All of us can make money, but the time you take to make it. All of us can sell, the time you can take to take it. So find out, Captain Dheeraj, you're in shipping and logistics, right? So you find out who are doing the best in that industry and you learn from them. So somebody who has 15 years, 20 years head start over you, aap unko model kar sakte. So that is how you learn. That is the fastest way to learn. And how can you do it? You can approach them, you can pay them, you can read their book, you can go to their seminar, so many ways, And most of the time, people who have succeeded, they are happy to share if you approach them in a good way. So when I used to approach other builders who are bigger than us, so I said, okay, who are the top 2 or 3 builders we want to learn from them, because we are doing construction. So I told them, we'll be building, but our project will take 2 years. Your project is ready. A client has contacted me. Here I'm referring a client. So immediately we collab. And there is a lot of business. In a country like India, 1.4 billion log, there are many problems to solve. So return on inspiration, but inspiration doesn't come only from your own field. हर फील्ड से आपको इंस्पिरेशन मिल सकती है. बहुत बार मेरी नॉलेज में बुकिश नहीं है, तो मैं बहुत सिंपली बात करता हूँ, दिल से बात करता हूँ, क्योंकि मुझे लगता है बिजनेस दिल से होता है. तो अमिताभ बच्चन जी है. How many of you love Amitabh Bachchan ji, Mr. Amitabh Bachchan? Type yes. Can we have the next slide, please? यहाँ पे कितने लोगों को अमिताभ बच्चन जी पसंद है? Yes, you like him. Can we have the next slide, please? तो अमिताभ बच्चन जी जो है, मुझे भी बहुत पसंद है. उनके बेटे की एक फिल्म आई थी, गुरु. मुझे वो फिल्म भी बहुत पसंद थी, गुरु. आपने शायद देखी होगी. गुरु इज बेस्ड ऑन अ रियल स्टोरी. Somebody is saying, Uttam Singhal is saying, JSW team, kindly give the recording of this session. Yes, I'm sure you'll get the recording. Yes. You like him because of his personality, Bala. Yeah, he has a good personality. He has a great personality. Can we go backslide, please? Yes. Return on inspiration. Can we go one slide back? One slide back. So Amitabh Bachchan ji hai. And a lot of times people look at somebody who's successful and they feel he has not faced rejection. But everybody has faced rejection. इनको बहुत rejection face हुआ. In fact, जब भी इन्होंने Air India में All India Radio में apply किया था, he says कि आपका आवाज अच्छा नहीं है, we can't hire you. But he did not give up. लेकिन जब भी वो 58 years के थे, he was 58 years old. Something happened to him. When he was 58 years old, and this was somebody very close to me, close to him telling me. तो एक बार मैं किसके साथ था, वो फिल्म इंडस्ट्री में थे, एंड वो मुझे बता रहे थे कि उनको एक कॉल आया एक बार, एंड द पर्सन ऑन द अदर साइड सेड, हाय, आई एम अमिताभ बच्चन, कैन यू गिव मी वर्क? क्या आप मुझे काम दे सकते हो? So सबसे पहले दिस फ्रेंड ऑफ माइन, he did not believe. He said, this is Amitabh Bachchan, he is the topmost superstar, he has won film stars, इतने अच्छे फिल्म किए उन्होंने, he is acted with the most beautiful women in Bollywood, तो ये थोड़ी मुझे फोन करेंगे फॉर वर्क. He said, no. He said, are you joking or serious? बोला नहीं, मैं सचमुच अमिताभ बच्चन हूँ. I am really calling you because I need work. So he asked him why. He says, क्योंकि if I don't get work, in 10 days मेरा घर चले जाएगा. My family will be on the streets. Some of you might remember. Do you remember this? In around 2000, what happened to Amitabh Bachchan? He had only 10 days. If he had not paid money, he would be on the streets. The banks would have taken away his house. Because he had started a business. आपको याद है राजेश गुप्ता जी को, उन्होंने एक बिजनेस शुरू किया था, कोई कंपनी याद है आपको? कैन सम ऑफ यू पुट द नेम ऑफ दैट कंपनी जो उन्होंने शुरू की थी? सम ऑफ यू माइट रिमेंबर. सिर्फ 10 दिन उनके बच्चे, उनकी वाइफ सब रास्ते पे होते. सो ही सेड, नो, आई हैव टू कॉल. बिल्कुल मनोज भाई, यू आर राइट मनोज. ABCL लिमिटेड, दैट वाज द कंपनी. एंड ABCL, करेक्ट, एग्जैक्टली, आपको पता है. नाउ इमेजिन ही कॉल्ड एवरीबॉडी, जो भी इंडस्ट्री में थे, he did whatever it takes. तो सबसे पहली चीज, are you willing to do whatever it takes to succeed? अगर आपने गोल बनाया, no, I want to scale up. अगर मेरा 10 करोड़ है, I want to do 100 crores, I am 100 crores, I want to, सबको पता है. राजेश जी, ऋषि घाय, are you related to Subhash Ghai? Everybody knows. Are you willing to take whatever it takes to succeed? That is the difference. It is not knowledge, it is nothing, it is what you are willing. Are you willing to let go of your ego? He could have had ego, yaar, main to Amitabh Bachchan hu. I've got 100 film fairs, I was top actor, why should I call people? But he still did it. And that happens when you have a larger than life mission. Agar aapka goal 10 times more, and I believe you have to make crazy goals. Aapko goals banane chahiye which are very high. Then you will achieve. Don't make goals that make you comfortable. So because, and he had his family, and you should have a driving force more than money. He had a driving force more than money. उनकी driving force क्या थी? अगर मैं ये call नहीं करूं, मेरे बच्चे रास्ते पे होंगे, मेरी wife रास्ते पे होगी. So he picked up the phone and called everybody. He let go of his ego. Are you willing to let go of your ego and call people? Sir, can you give me business? Sir, I started a new business. Sir, I sell JSW steel products. Sir, I sell X, I sell Y. That is the difference. And he did not call one, he called hundreds of people. Now finally, that's important, Manoj. That's important, Rajesh. That's very important. No, Rajesh, I don't agree with this. In reality, generally, no one helps a common person. If you have hunger in your heart, Rajesh Gupta, if you have hunger in your heart, I was a common person. All of us are common people. Remember, we are common or special based on us. We are all special if we think we are children of the divine. We are all special or common, however we think. But if you work hard, if you knock 100 doors, one door will open. Remember that. That is the mistake. That is the mistake people think. Everybody is special if you do it. And then finally, one person told him that I will give you not a movie, but a TV show. And till that time, no actor was willing to do TV shows. Nobody was willing to do TV shows because they thought it is below their dignity. But he said yes. And today, if you look at Kaun Banega Crorepati, per season he charges 400, 500 crores. So from going bankrupt to coming back. So you can take inspiration from everybody. Everybody who has done something has faced rejection. So the first thing is you should never give up. Never ever give up, because once you give up, everything goes away. So are you willing to take that action? Are you willing? So agar aapko sell karna hai, are you willing to take committed action? That's the first thing. So are you willing to have a mindset where you're willing to act? Very important. And this is not only Amitabh Bachchan, so many people in your own life, you have reached here, you would have faced rejection. Once you keep going above rejection, you come. Okay. Next thing, can we move to the next slide? So the first thing is return on inspiration. Find role models around you. Find people who are doing it better than you. Find people who have done it. Agar aapko sales seekhna hai, find people who are doing it. Marketing seekhna hai, find people who are doing it, and use those systems. Next thing, can we go to the next slide? What is the next thing for increasing ROI? और क्या है to increase ROI? जैसे मैं हरे कृष्णा ग्रुप की बात कर रहा था, people, they started with nothing. Fourth standard, they started with zero. All of us start with zero. Nobody starts with, few people start, but most of us start with zero. And there is a beauty in that, because when you start with zero, you can use your mind more. The second thing is return on incentives. What is return on incentive? Can somebody tell me? क्या कोई मुझे बता सकते हैं what is return on incentive? Can somebody guess? What do I mean by return on incentive? Okay, I will tell you. Some of you are writing. Find out where your existing customers already are. If you can find out where your existing customers already are and have an alliance with them, you can scale up immediately. What do I mean by this? For example, let us say you are selling steel. Okay, आप steel बेच रहे हो या कोई भी allied product बेच रहे हो compared to steel. Ask yourself, मेरे best customers कहाँ जाते हैं? Where do my best customers go? Mentally, physically, where do my best customers go? So for example, if you're selling steel, I want to hear some of your answers. Where do your best customers go? Okay, somebody is writing to architects. Okay, somebody is written architects. Okay. Now let us say your best customers go to architects. Okay, so you want to sell steel. Let us say you are selling steel to builders. Okay, Sunil Bishnoi is writing Jindal. Okay, I am an ex-Jindal. Okay, different. Okay, so So somebody said architects. Now, can you go to an architect who is dealing with your customers and have an alliance with them? So can you go to him and tell him, can you recommend your clients to me? Can you recommend a client and give them an incentive? Because that is the fastest way to scale up. Where there is good service, yeah, that is also there. If you give good service, customers will come to you. That is also right, Karthik. Yeah. But what I'm trying to say is get a network effect. So if you can tie up with a network that already has a big reach, you can start converting more deals. So for example, I'll tell you. So my first book came out. This was when I was 23. And I tied up with CNBC. Why did I tie up with CNBC? I tied up with CNBC because I knew on their platform there are 5 million people on money control. So immediately I had a network effect. Did it take time to convince them? Yes, it took time. But if you convince somebody, and you suddenly get access to their network, so you get access to 1,000 people, 2,000 people, 5,000 people, immediately you can scale up and you can give value. So for example, in today's world, there are many ways with which you can give value. So for example, let's say if you want to tie up with an architect, instead of selling your product, maybe you can share a report. आप एक report create कर सकते हो. 7 things you need to know before setting up steel plants, or 7 things to know before you buy steel. So that report gives you access to data. So start using incentives, and the best way to motivate people is through incentives. So start giving incentives to people around you so that they can get business for you. Most of the brands use it. Everybody who scales up fast uses it. So somebody who already has a network, आप find out कीजिए कि किसको already network है, आपके clients किसके पास है, उनसे आप ally कीजिए. So instead of going to individual people, tie up with one person who has access to 500 people, 1,000 people, because उनमें से आपको, even if you get 5 or 10% conversion, you get 100 new clients. Very powerful if you understand how to implement this. Return on incentive. So the first was return on inspiration. Second is return on incentive. Can we go next? Can we move to the next slide? What else is there? Some of you might have already tried this in your business. Has any of you tried using incentives? Next slide. Next slide. Okay. The next thing is return on innovation. What is innovation? क्या मुझे कोई बता सकते हैं? What is return on innovation? Can somebody tell me what is return on innovation? Now, innovation can be many forms. बहुत types of innovations होते हैं. एक innovation होती है marketing innovation. Now, what is marketing innovation? Investment on, Rajesh Gupta कह रहे investment on new ideas. Yes, investment on new ideas. You are right. And one very powerful way is marketing. Marketing is one way. Now, for example, if you see, why is JSW doing this? Can somebody tell me why is JSW sponsoring this event? They are sponsoring this event because it is a form of marketing. 1,000 people, 2,000 people, 3,000 people, जितने भी लोग आए, अगर आप लोग का धंधा बढ़ेगा, you will come back to JSW. Even if your business goes up 10%, 20%, 50%, you will have a positive feeling for JSW and you will come back and you are likely to buy their products. To increase it, Rajesh Gupta is saying, new ideas which add value. I'll tell you, some of these ideas are very simple to implement. I'll tell you, many times it is just a difference between a logo. I'll share a case study. एक case study मैं आपसे share करूँगा. Why it's important to have a very strong marketing. Can we go to the next slide, please? I'll share an example of a company. Now, these are two cars. How many of you have heard, seen, owned, bought these two cars? Can somebody tell me? On one side you have Porsche Cayenne. On the other side you have Volkswagen Touareg. Can somebody tell me what is the difference between these two cars? कोई मुझे बता सकता है ये गाड़ियों में दोनों में फर्क क्या है? It's a very interesting study in return on innovation. Marketing innovation. तो अगर आप देखो जो Porsche Cayenne है, Porsche Cayenne and Touareg, आपको लगता है which one of these cars would be more expensive? Which one of these cars do you think would be more expensive? Some of you got it right. So the Porsche Cayenne, both are luxury, Rajesh Gupta is, but Porsche is a status. Okay. You are right. Both are luxury. And Porsche. You are also right, Manoj. All of you are saying Porsche. Now, if you Porsche Cayenne is a more expensive car, and in India the difference is almost 70-80 lakhs. But both these cars are identical cars. It is the same platform. 99% of both these cars is the same. All of you said Porsche, and that's true. That's right. Anil Kumar, Dinesh Kannan, Karthikya, दोनों गाड़ियां exactly same platform है. दोनों गाड़ियां exactly same है. Porsche Cayenne and Porsche Touareg are both the same, and the only difference is a logo. So it is only a marketing innovation, and because of that logo, because Porsche people have a different opinion, a different perception, sells at a higher price. And if you see on the streets of Mumbai, Porsche Cayenne sells more than Volkswagen Touareg. दोनों same company के. Volkswagen owns Porsche, and this is the example of a marketing innovation. So just by changing the logo, they have been able to increase their appeal and increase their revenue and increase. And just that logo innovation has led to billions of dollars. What does this teach us about people? Can somebody tell me, इससे आप क्या सीख सकते हो about people? And how can you implement this in your own business? इससे आप सीख सकते हो that marketing has a lot of power. Now some of you might be thinking, but हम लोग commodity business में है. Steel is a commodity business. Steel, maybe even if you are in a commodity business, marketing can give you an edge. So are you using all the new brand building, brand value? Are you using the new technologies available? और पहले जो innovation होती थी, you needed lakhs and crores of rupees. अगर आपको ad डालना होता था newspaper में, you had to invest 50 lakhs, 1 crore, 2 crores. Today with social media, a very little investment, you can do marketing. You can target people. आज आप exactly target कर सकते हो. So with only 5,000 rupees, 10,000 rupees, 20,000 rupees, you can run targeting campaigns. You can do. So are you using these new innovations to move ahead? Are you using these tools जो आपके पास है for moving ahead? And if you start using these, they can have a lot of benefit. Can we move to the next slide? So this is one way. Okay. Now another thing, when you start thinking freely, I always say, अगर आपके ऊपर कोई pressure नहीं है, you can start thinking freely. I'll give you an example. Many ways we have used it. How we used innovation, how we used incentives, and how we used inspiration. I'll give you a real case study. So as I told you, I'd come out with my first book when I was 23. And we have used this for many of our clients. बहुत सारे clients के लिए भी हम लोग ने ये system implement किया है. So I wanted it to be on the bestseller list. I believe anything you do well should sell well. That's my belief. So I went statistics, and the best way to find out is see numbers. So I went मैंने numbers देखे, bookstores में गया, and we were not on the bestseller list. तो मुझे बहुत अच्छा, I did not like it. मैंने बोला नहीं, मुझे bestseller list पे आना है. So what do we do? Okay, somebody is saying, I want to join Jindal Career on. Please connect me to the Jindal sales team. Mufaddal Saifi. I'm sure they'll connect with you. They are seeing your messages. So I said, I want to sell, and I want to become the highest selling author. You need to have crazy things. So I just asked myself a question: how can I become a #1 bestseller? And I believe जब भी आप questions पूछो, you get answers. So I got an idea, थोड़ी सी crazy idea, and that time planes were just starting, aviation was just starting up. So what we did was, I wrote an email to all the CEOs of airlines. So सबसे पहले I wrote to the CEO of Jet Airways, that I am launching a new book. I would like to meet you, and I have a proposal with which you can increase revenue. Always when you pitch to somebody, think about their interest. Talk about their interest. People are selfish. Don't talk about your own interest. Talk about that person's interest. So I wrote to him. So I got a meeting, with the CEO. So I met him. I said, we want to sell this book. It's a very good book. We want to sell it on your plane, and we will do a revenue share. जो भी book बिकेगा, we will share revenue. So he told me, this has never been done before. हम लोग ने पहले कभी भी books बेचे नहीं है plane पे. No problem. But at a time, there were no planes also. Imagine if the Wright brothers thought that, planes नहीं थे. He said, no, we cannot do that. I said, okay, no problem. He had a closed mindset. बहुत सारे लोगों को closed mindset. I said, no problem. There are many fish. So again, we went to Kingfisher. Kingfisher को भी मैंने pitch किया. बोला, no, sir. We are not interested. Closed mindset. And what happens is most people give up too soon. There's something I want to share from the Gita. In the Gita, Krishna ji bolte, "आप अपना लक्ष्य change मत कीजिए. Don't change your goal. Change your strategy." So I said, no, I'll keep trying. Finally, I went to SpiceJet. I said, let us sell this on the plane and we will do a revenue share. So because I knew they have already a customer base, people are flying, and we wanted to do innovation and share some incentive. They said, okay, chalo, let's start off. We started with 5,000 books. It sold. From there, it became the highest selling book because there was no competition. And what we did was we went into a sector that was different from other sectors. So try to find out how you can innovate in terms of marketing and sales. Can we go to the next slide? Okay. Now I want to ask you, we spoke about these three things, we've been speaking for some time: return on inspiration, return on incentives, return on innovation. Now I want to ask you how you're going to implement these. And we will take some questions. We have 15 minutes, so let's take some questions and how you are going to implement these, because the way you implement these is what will define things. Let's take some questions. Okay. So first question we have, and you could also write how you plan to implement these, and there are many ways, give some can you give some examples to raise customers in shipping and logistics service field? Okay, so Captain Dheeraj Kumar is asking, give some examples to raise customers in shipping and logistics service field. So first thing, Captain Dheeraj Kumar, find out what is the problem you solve. So what is the problem you solve? So by giving logistics, you are solving the problem of, say, trade, and what is your USP? So either you can do it faster. So are you faster, or you can do it cheaper because a few people can save time, or both? Faster, cheaper, both, or more reliable. When you commit, when Captain Dheeraj Kumar commits something, it happens. And then the best way is two things you could do. One is very simple: run a small ad campaign. So find out who are your ideal clients. You can use targeting, you can use LinkedIn, you can use Facebook, you can use any of these. Find out who are your ideal clients. So let's say you want to target Mumbai market, corporates in Mumbai, or show them an ad. Say, we will help you reduce your logistic cost by 10% or 15%, whatever it is. I or we, whatever your company, we will help you reduce logistic cost by 10% and increase your productivity by 15%. Find out how. Just give them a small call to action. Let them click and call you. With a small investment of 5,000, 10,000 rupees, you will start getting leads. You will get 50 leads, 100 leads, and then you go on the call and convince them. That is the best way you can do it. I have used this so many times. Many of our clients have done it. And with small, so that investment of 5,000, 10,000 rupees now can give you 4 new clients, 5 new clients, and you know what's the value of an additional client. Hope that was of help, Captain Dheeraj Kumar. Very simple. So let them know that because of you, they can save time, they can save money, they can save productivity, and give them a very simple call to action. That's what you do. Okay, another question you have. Tanisha Gupta पूछ रही है, how can we prove to some that we are the best match to their company? Okay. How can we prove to, one very good way, Tanisha, to prove to somebody that you're the best match to their company is give them a trailer, give them a sample. How do you give them a sample? Let them know what you can do for them before doing it. Let them know. So for example, let us say you're looking for a job, or you're looking for a pitch, or you're pitching somebody that I want to sell something. Give them some insights, help them out. So even before somebody pays you, help them out. So for example, let us say all of you have attended this session. I might have helped some of you. From some of you might say, Yogesh bhai, Yogesh, hame aur chahiye, we want more from you, you will convert. So try to give value, and in today's world you can use all the means you have to give value. So what is one problem you solve for somebody, Tanisha, and give them a sample, because if they taste that sample, they can really come back to you. That's how you prove it. So you prove it by showing it to them. Next question, Bala Vignoy. As an engineer-owned construction company, how to get contracts from people from unfamiliar places. As an engineer-owned company, how to get contract from people from, Bala, before you pitch somebody, like before I come and tell you, Bala, give me your money, you need to find a relationship. You need to find a rapport. So what you need to do is before you say, okay, come give me the project, when you reach out to them, study what you're doing. So let's say you're targeting somebody in America. or in Dubai or anywhere, find out everything you can and tell them, I saw you built the Burj Khalifa, for example. I found out you built the Burj Khalifa and it's a great building, but I had a suggestion with which your future projects you can save 10% or you can increase speed by 7%. And let me show you how. I would like to go on a call with you to show you how. So when you're pitching to them, pitch it as a value add. What is so special about you? What makes it better? And you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You have to do it better. So before Facebook came, Orkut was there, MySpace was there. They just did it better. Before Google, Yahoo was there. Yahoo was there, but Google did it better. So pitch to them in a way that you can show giving them value. So when you reach out to people, so when I reached out to Jet Airways, I pitched out that I can help them increase revenue. Whether they say yes or no is secondary. So if you reach out to 100 people, from 100 people, 5 or 10 will come. Captain Dheeraj Kumar, excellent, thanks. Happy to know you. Implement it, Captain. Okay, what is Paveen Wilson saying? If possible, please repeat again. ROI. Okay, Praveen Wilson. Okay. So as I told you, Paveen Wilson, ROI, return on inspiration and return on incentives. So return on inspiration is when you find out people who have done it. If you find out किसने already किया है, आप उससे fast सीख सकते हो. So my vision in life is, if somebody, how do I grow? I go to somebody who has 15 years, 20 years experience, whatever I want to do, and I will sit with them for 1 hour, 2 hours, and I will give them money. I will invest with them. I'll say, can you teach me everything in a workshop, in a seminar? I've learned so many things, I learned meditation, everything. So I go to experts, I wanted to lose weight, I put on weight. I went to somebody who had done it. So that, and you get inspired. So you look around you and you get inspired from people who have already done it. And incentives is to get people on your boat, you have to give them something. You have to give them something of value, because people are selfish. So you have to give them, it doesn't have to be money, it can be prestige, it can be anything. That's what it is, Paveen. Kunal Ahuja is pushing. How to handle rejection? Oh my God. How to handle Kunal Ahuja. I don't know if you're आप Punjabi हो या Sindhi. Ahujas Punjabi भी होते, Sindhi भी होते. I have some good friends who are Ahujas. You need to start thinking in spiritual terms, because rejection, only the person who does something faces rejection. Remember that. Only the person who does something faces rejection. And there's a very powerful thing from the Gita where Krishna tells Arjun, go fight the war. Don't worry whether you win or lose. And that is, he's telling all of us. He's telling us, go pitch, right? Make those calls. Today, after the session, I want you to make calls. I want you to send out emails. I want you to send out messages. How can I help you? How can I add value to you? What can I do with you? If you send out 100 people messages, one person will convert. And that's how you get maximum things. So, and start accepting that rejection is a part of the game. All of us have faced rejection. And the trick is to face more rejection and not be affected by it. So don't get affected by praise. Don't get affected by anything. Just keep doing what you have to do. Every day, if you do what you have to do, it will come. On this webinar, we have said 1,000 people. Out of 1,000 people, not everybody will like me. 100 people might abuse me. It's okay. Don't care about it. Do what you got to do. Okay. Now, Karthikyan is asking, oh, so many questions. Kunal Ahuja is Sindhi. Okay, nice. How to tackle, okay, we have some more minutes. How to tackle the people who copy same idea and give competition? Okay, Karthikyan. There will always be people who copy your idea. Remember, ideas are not powerful. Ideas do not create millions of dollars or billions of dollars. Execution creates it. How do you execute it? And if you want to become a billionaire, you have to impact 1 billion people. If you want to become a millionaire, you have to impact 1 million people. You have to solve 1 million problems. If you want to make millions, you have to generate billions for people. So I know people, who in hedge funds, they create $4 billion a year. I have friends, they do $4 billion a year. Why do they do $4 billion a year? Because they are generating $50 billion, $60 billion. So when people copy your idea, it doesn't matter. So many people copy my idea. People will copy ideas. It's a good thing if people are copying your idea, but do it better. Give better customer service. Be honest. Be ethical. You can't stop people. Don't think about people who copy your ideas. If people are copying your ideas, they're doing a good thing. Have you seen Apple phones? कितने लोगों ने Apple phone देखा है? सबने देखा होगा. या Nike के shoes देखे. कितने सारे copies आते हैं Apple के Nike के. But Apple will still sell at 1 lakh, 1,20,000. Nike will still sell at 10,000, 15,000. So the original, if you continue doing it and don't get bogged down, so continue doing it. Most welcome, Tanisha. Happy to know I was of help. How to get color coated coils from company process. Digvijay Gaikwad, that you will have to ask JSW guys, because I'm a businessman, I'm not an engineer. Anything related to sales, marketing, scaling up, really getting your cash flow going, those are the things that excite me. But even in our construction business, we hire engineers, we hire contracting companies. If it looks good, we hire them. So I would not be able to answer that because I am not an engineer. Captain Dheeraj Kumar, Madhab Marine and Logistics Private Limited, Kolkata. Go out and tell me how it goes, Captain. I want you to do this. I want you to do this. So many questions coming in. I love these questions. Ye question hai Irshad Qazi. I am into steel trading. How can I become competitive in the market since the very minimum price orders will be? How to become Irshad Qazi? You are in steel trading, okay? So see, first thing is you have to be competitive. You have to be competitive, right? And again, find out what your competitor is doing. So find out who are the best people in your business. How are they able to give it at a lower price? Okay. Now sometimes in some, like we were doing real estate, one guy came to us and he said, your competitor is, we were doing construction projects in Kharbandra. One guy said, that guy is selling cheaper than you. I said, how is he doing it? And later we found out that person is selling the same apartment to 3 people. I said, we can't do that because we don't want to cheat people. So find out if it is possible, and if it is not, you put fear in the person's mind. You say, okay, that person is using bad quality. You can buy it cheaper, but it will cost you more because that project might fail. Things might not work out. So why don't you just invest 10% more and have peace of mind? I mean, our consulting services, our products are some of the most highly priced in the market, because do you really care if you give us 10 lakhs but you make 1 crore, right? So it is not always price, it is value. Remember that, Irsha. So let the customer know when they are giving you money, they will make 100 times the value. That's what's important. Bala Vignesh, okay, we have hundreds of questions. Okay, let's see. Okay, whose question should we take? So many questions. Okay, we have a few minutes. We have 3-4 minutes. Maybe we can stretch it a little. Okay, what is the question? Who's okay? And guys, try it out. Whatever I'm saying, try it out. As I told you in the beginning, things work when you take action. And many times it's just fear. It's just fear. People have, should I pick up the phone? Should I speak to him? Have no fear. Bala Vignesh is asking me how to get opportunity from society by the way of ROI. Solve people's problems, Bala Vignesh. The more problems you solve for society, the more money you will make, the more you succeed. So find out what problem you can solve. Society is filled with problems. India is filled with problems. The world is filled with problems. Take up one problem and go on it full on. The problem is people take too many things. When I was a kid, some of you might remember, सन के रेज आते थे, मैं एक मैग्नीफाइंग ग्लास लेता था और जो कीली होती है, चीटी होती है, आप मत करना, इट्स नॉट अ गुड थिंग. आई यूज्ड टू पुट द मैग्नीफाइंग रेज ऑन दैट एंट एंड दैट एंट वुड बर्न. Do you know, has any of you tried it? Focus. The sun's energy would focus and burn that ant. You got to focus. So problem is, if you're focusing on steel, focus on steel. If I'm focusing on business scaling up, I focus only on that. I don't do engineering, I focus on that, and I become a master on that. It's like Amitabh Bachchan ji, he focuses on Kaun Banega Crorepati acting. He doesn't focus on steel business. All of us got to focus. So that's, and you solve problems. Paveen Wilson, got it. Very good points about inspiration and innovation. I have to follow it, but I have consistency issues. I wonder how to keep myself motivated. A lot of people have that. We have a program called Sales Mastery Systems, where we are like this together. At the end, if some of you are interested, I'll share details of that. We could stay in touch and I help you through the process. So you have to become a part of a system. You have to make a discipline. Like you brush your teeth every morning, right? Why? Because your mother told you. जब भी आप छोटे थे, आपने माँ ने क्या बोला था या डैडी ने क्या बोला था, बेटा अगर आप ब्रश नहीं करोगे आपके दांत सड़ जाएंगे. रोज आपको बोलते थे या नहीं? स्टार्टिंग में आप ब्रश नहीं, मेरा बेटा है 3 साल का है, my son is 3 years, but every day we tell him now you brush. So it has to become a habit. every single day. Every morning I get up, I exercise. Every morning I play, I do my business. From morning to evening, I do my business. Evening, I spend time with family. Every single day. Consistency, and consistency comes two ways. Once, when you surround yourself a group of people who are doing it, or second is you get somebody to push you. Like you join a gym. Why you join a gym and take a coach? So he can push you. That's how you do it. Okay, most welcome, Karthikeyan. Most welcome. Okay, you will be in touch, Captain Dheeraj Kumar. Sure. Can we have the next slide, guys? Can we have the next slide? Some of you want to be in touch. I'll share the link with you. Next slide. I am in insurance. Oh, I love insurance. We work with the insurance. We work with almost all the industries to help them scale and develop their brand marketing. Yeah. So all of back the connect slide. There are many more. Return on information, return on intuition, return on intelligence. Most importantly, return on immediate action. Return on immediate action beats everything. Somebody with a Harvard degree can come. We hire many of them, but I will beat him because I will take more action than him. How did Dhirubhai Ambani become what he is? I know somebody who met him when he started. He had only 150 square foot office. So people who say you have to be famous, all of that doesn't work. It's bullshit. It's an excuse you give yourself. People give themselves excuse. I'm not famous enough. My parents are not rich. I didn't go to the best schools. These are bullshit excuses. And so mind my language. If you want to succeed, stop giving excuses. I might sound harsh, but that's true. Dhirubhai Ambani, he used to have a 150 square foot office. He did it. You either give excuses or you find solutions. Next slide. Put the next slide. Next slide. I want those of you who want to connect for more. All of you who want to connect, who want to move, you can't click, I think. So you just got to type that www.yogeshchabria.com/connect. Okay, let's see. What are the other questions? We have so many questions coming in. Previous slide. Take the previous slide to the connect, to the people who want to connect. Lots of people asking. Yeah, keep this slide. Okay, somebody is asking, Captain Dheeraj Kumar is asking, how to develop your brand by dealing more customers or more turnover or good logo or good services or good strategy or business dealer. So brand is all those things. All those things. You have to be ethical, very, very important to be ethical, to be honest, because without that your brand doesn't grow. Inside it has to be solid, and then you pour fuel on it. It's like a fire. The insides has to be solid. Good product, not good product. Great product, not great product. Excellent product, not good service, not great service. Excellent service. All those things have to be there, and then over that you pour fuel. What is fuel? Marketing, advertising. Marketing and advertising is the fuel, and that works 24/7. Even when I'm sleeping at night, our marketing is working constantly. Marketing for our clients is working constantly all the time. Even when you're sleeping, it's like a machine working. It's like a property that gives you rent. Marketing and sales is constantly working, and with automated systems, imagine even when you're sleeping in the night, Captain Dheeraj Kumar, or any of you, businesses are coming to know about your brand. At night, somebody is searching LinkedIn and they see about your product. They click a link and their data comes to you, and in the next morning, somebody from the sales team calls them. Right now, when you go to yogeshchabria.com connect, your data comes to us, right? I'm giving you value. 3,000 people here. Out of it, your data comes. We will do business with some of you because we're going to give you value. It's a marketing machine. Marketing machine. There will be a replay. Replay might be watched by 10,000 people. So this is a system you can put it, and this is what I call a sales system. So brand is all those things, and today brand is more powerful than anything else. When you buy a mobile phone, let me tell you, all of you, I want you to look at your mobile phone. Look at your mobile phone right now. It could be a Samsung, it could be an iPhone, it could be a OnePlus, it could be Vivo. जो भी आपका phone है, आपने decision लिया 99% sure. Before you visited Flipkart, before you visited Amazon, before you visited shop, आपने mind में decide किया यार मुझे ये phone चाहिए, बहुत अच्छा phone है, must phone है. आपने decide किया based on marketing. क्योंकि आपने वो ब्रांड का रिव्यू देखा, आपने गूगल किया उसे, तो क्या आप उसका पावर यूज करो? आर यू यूजिंग द सेम पावर इन योर बिजनेस? मार्केटिंग. दैट्स हाउ पीपल बाय टुडे. Okay, so many questions coming in. So you got to do all of that, So have a, and it doesn't cost a lot of money. It doesn't. In fact, if you're not putting these systems, you are losing money. And today's world is super competitive. And अगर आप ये सब modern systems use नहीं कर रहे हो, आप पीछे रह जाओगे. अगर आप use कर रहे हो, you will move ahead. That's what is innovation. Even Reliance. I was speaking to their CFO, Jio के Rajneesh Jain. वो बोल रहे थे their vision is more for Jio, and Jio is the reverse of oil. Jio, अगर आप Jio लिखो और oil लिखो, Jio is the reverse of oil. Why did Mukesh Ambani ji move from oil to Jio? Because he knows this is the future. Online is the future. तो अगर वो switch कर रहे हैं, who has already got $50 billion, हम सबको switch करना है. We have to keep changing, keep innovating. That's how you move it. जो चीज stagnate होती है वो बढ़ती नहीं है. A river that stagnates starts sinking. So we have to keep flowing. Okay, so many questions. Okay, which questions should we take? Do we have more time? We have Omkar from JSW. We have like hundreds of questions, Omkar. I love these guys. Gaurav Goyal.
So I would suggest maybe you can take one or two more questions, and then we can use this, and maybe we can take it offline.
Okay. Sir, make sales training little cheaper. Bharat Kumar, I think sales make Bharat Kumar, sales training, what is cheap, what is expensive? If you invest X and make 10 times the return, that's what you got to look at. And some of our training is very cheap. Like our books, our programs are just like 1,000 rupees. Our basic stuff is 1,000 rupees. Anybody can afford it. So those are like masks. They don't involve my personal time. But my personal time, because so many people come in, right? So you got to define it. So you start small. If you don't have money, start small. Start small, but keep doing it. Make it a habit. So every day, if you learn just one thing, today you learned a couple of ideas, Bharat Kumar. इनमें से आप कितने implement करोगे? That's what you got to do. And you can start with as little as 500 or 1,000 rupees. You don't need 5,000 crores or 10,000 crores. And many times, with less capital, you can do more things if you are willing to be bold. What time people are not bold? So you are willing to invest, on a mobile, 50,000 rupees. But if you say the same thing for putting in a system to scale up, you might not. But if you just delay that process by 1 month, 2 months, just one client you can go and buy that mobile. What is your question? Gaurav Goyal. That is a very good question, and I think Mr. Goyal is a Marwadi. Marwadis are very good. Sindhis, we look up to them because they're very good in business. Sir, need your view on return on intellectual innovation. Intellectual innovation is also of your mind. It's always good. Agar aap hamesha soch rahe ho, how can you innovate? How can you do something better? You will start question answer. So, aapka focus kahan pe hai? Is your focus on TV news? Who are always fighting. We don't have a TV connection. So kisne mujhe bola, Yogesh, but I saw you on TV the other day. To be on TV, I don't need to watch TV news. Is your focus on that, or is your focus on your business, on your life? I have no control over politics. I have no control what some Bollywood star does, whether वो drugs लेते हैं नहीं, मुझे क्या फर्क पड़ता है? My focus should be on my business, my life. In the next 1 year, what should I do? Can I do in the next 1 year what it would have taken me 10 years or 15 years? If you start asking these questions, very powerful. So a lot of time people spend time on Netflix. So I love reading, so I'm reading this book called That Will Never Work. ये book है Netflix के founder की. तो उनके wife ने उन्होंने बोला ये कभी नहीं चलेगा. His own wife, everybody told him that will never work, but he still did. And I connected with Mark. His name is Mark. He made around like $500 million. I connected with him. So where is your focus? Where is your attention? Where is your energy? Move your focus to things that would add value to your life. Okay.
I think we are running out of time, but it's an amazing session. I think thank you. I think the audience has been wonderful. The session was really interesting, Yogesh. I think few strategies, really simple, easy to implement, but I think it's the first step which everyone needs to take. That the first movement come out of your comfort zone and take that first step towards the business. I think that's how I would like to sum it up. Thank you all, and keep following our social media handles for further updates on the webinars. Thank you. Thanks, Yogesh, once again.
Thank you so much. I'll see all of you guys. It's www.yogeshchabria.com. Connect. Yeah, that's my contact details, Rajesh Gupta. There's also a handout. I want all of you to click the handout because there are some key points we discussed. There's a handout. Can all of you see the handout? All of you, I want you to click the handout. You can see the key points and you can connect with me and just take I can share hundreds of strategies with you, but I want you to start with step one. Everybody start with only step one. Best of luck, guys. Check out the handout. Did everybody get the handout? Put yes. सबको handout मिला है. You okay? Yes, you got the handout. Perfect. So everybody take your handouts. Best of luck and see you soon.